All right, lovelies, today is the day. I am so excited to share this video with you. This is a brand that I have been wanting to try for a very long time. I think that they were a brand in my 2022 to try list. I'm pretty sure 2023 too, because I still had them on the list and it just hasn't been something that has happened. And that is Glaminatrix. This is a brand that I have been oohing and awing over for a while, and I just never did it. I just never hit the add to cart. Well, I did hit the add to cart quite a few times. I just never hit the boop checkout. And today I am going to share with you my thoughts on my very first dip into a Glaminatrix palette. Today we're going to be working with the Nearly Natural palette. Now I know that this palette isn't available anymore, but there is a reason that I chose this one to share with you today. I'm going to get into that in a moment, but I just want to take the opportunity to thank my very generous fellow makeup loving friend and subscriber, Tanya, for sending this over to me. She sent a couple amazing packages filled with Glaminatrix goodies, so I just had to touch this one first. This palette is not available anymore, but it's sort of like my little dream palette. Like when I look at this color story, I just completely drool over it. And I wanted to share my thoughts on this with you because I think right now the it girl of the moment is the Rich Romantic palette, the palette that the brand just recently released. So I wanted to share with you my thoughts on experiencing this brand and also whether it is making me want to get the Rich Romantic palette or whether it's making me not want to get it. So stay tuned to the end so you can know the thoughts on that. And we're going to kind of dive into that palette compared to this one as well, at least from what I can see from pictures online, of course. All right. So I just have to say, well, I should probably show you the palette, right? Like I said, upon first glance, this palette is sort of like everything my easy makeup vibe would be, right? So this would be a very grab and go color story for me. I mean, let's give her moment in the sun here. So you have the rose golds, of course. You have these beautiful like mauve tones. You have these colors right here, which I feel like you can't quite see them in all their like, it's like the prettiest grungy tones I've ever seen. You've got this like almost like golden olive. And then this one here, I haven't actually dipped into. That's one shade that I don't think I've used. I've used a lot of the others, but that one is one that I haven't used yet, but I am excited to try this one because this is like wearable cool tone for me. So I don't know how I resisted buying this when it first came out. I must have been having an extra strong moment because like I said, between the allure of this brand and then this color story, it was one that I definitely had on my wish list. So thank you again, Tanya. This has really just been so wonderful to be able to experience. All right, that one is going into the longest intro ever. Well, probably not for me, but one of the longest intros ever in the history of my channel. But if we haven't met before, my name is Kelly and I'm a professional hair and makeup artist and chatty Cathy. And here on my channel, I strive to keep beauty real. Real honest, real relatable, and real fun. So if that sounds like something you'd enjoy, don't forget to click subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on future videos. All right, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna share with you now the clip of my very first look that I created using this palette. And then again, like I said, you'll get to see the second look, which is the one that I have on right here. And then we'll get into all my thoughts on this. We're gonna talk some comparisons. Am I clicking add to cart and then clicking purchase? Or am I gonna step away from this new palette from Glaminatrix? Let's see. Okay, so let's dive into these looks, shall we? Now, I have chosen not to go through and do a full arm of swatches for you, honestly, because you can't get this palette anymore, and I don't even think that the singles are available. A lot of times the brand does have singles available, maybe for a little longer if they're in stock, but I didn't see, I think I saw one or two of these maybe, but not the whole palette. But also, this palette has been around a long time. There's been a lot of content on it. You've seen all the shades. What I am really here to do is sort of give you my thoughts on the formulas from this brand and really help compare to the Rich Romantic palette. So either if you have this in your collection, maybe this will inspire you to use this and sort of give you an idea of whether or not you should get the Rich Romantic, or maybe we just have really similar makeup tastes and you're curious about my thoughts on the formulas and also whether or not I'm gonna end up getting that Rich Romantic palette. All right, time for some looks. We're gonna dive into those comparisons at the end. Okay. So this is technically, like I said, the first time I'm touching this palette. These shades are so dimensional. Can I just show that right now? Like, look at how beautiful these are. I'm so excited. The problem with such a pretty palette is deciding where to take it. I mean, not where to take it with you, but where to take your look. I think today I'm just gonna do something pretty light and natural, probably on the nudie side, maybe with a little pink. I don't know, we'll see. This is technically, I don't know how I'm going to show these looks, but this is technically the first time I'm dipping into this palette, so I'm really excited. Of course, I want to dig into these greens so bad, but I think I'm going to save that for something a little bit more dramatic. So we're just going to go light and soft. I'm probably just going to put a little music on for this one. Very excited to touch some of these pretty shades.
It's the end of the weekend, but I still wanna turn up. Yeah, I still wanna turn up. All I want is to go again, but you ain't picking your phone up. Why you messing my head up? Any night, any day, let me take you away. All I need is just saying yeah, 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 yeah. Better nights, better days, when you're here with me, babe. 'Cause you're all that I crave, so I wonder, where are you? Where are you? Don't hide away from me when I need you most. We got love guaranteed, and I have to know, say, where are you? Don't be so hard to reach, just pick up your phone. Tell me where you'll be, 'cause I gotta know. Let me know when you're ready, 'cause I made reservations.
Okay, so before I throw on some mascara, I just had some quick thoughts on the formulas so far, and I just wanted you to be able to get a close look. Hopefully you're able to see the texture of these shadows. There is so much little micro sparkle to these. All three of the shimmers that I used, I would say that is the one thing, is I feel like these all have a similar texture. Like, they're sheeny, but most of the shine comes from like micro sparkle. Like this first shade that I put on Unveiled, well, technically it's not the first shade, it's the shade that's on my inner corner. Like, I just want to put a little bit on with my finger. Probably saw that I was using a silicone applicator. I was just trying to like mimic getting the look of what was on my finger. You don't quite get that on the eyelid. Like, I tried it with a brush. I feel like the brush, you don't get quite as much of the shimmer, and with the spatula it's better. With the finger it's even better, but I don't feel like any of them kind of have that like finger swatch glistening glow, you know what I mean? But it's very beautiful. It's just a lot of like micro sparkle. I will be curious to see how this lasts, if I feel like some of that falls down on my face. So we'll have to see. I only used 2 mattes. I used Barely There, which is this one here, and then this one on the bottom, Nothing to See. They're both pretty light. So, I mean, they look light in the pan, right? So I just wanted something really light. I will make sure in my next look to use something that's a little bit deeper so that we can see how deep we can get these mattes. But I just wanted to give you a look. I really like this. The texture, you know, it's fun. It's very different than a lot of what I have. I'm hoping that it stays on. I didn't put any eye primer on. You guys know that I don't really usually do that. So if I do get a lot of fallout in this look, I will probably try a more like tacky eye primer for the next look. So, you know, it's all fun and experimentation. I'm gonna go throw on some mascara and then I'll show you the final look. All right, here is the final look. It's actually been about an hour and 20 minutes or so. I had a meeting I had to jump on. So the eyeshadow settled in a little bit. I feel like this is just such a beautifully refined shimmer formula. Like, I don't know, right off the top of my head, I'm not like, ooh, this looks exactly like this other shadow. I'm gonna try to get up really, really close one more time, like ridiculously close, because it is just so, it is like Tinkerbell was on my eyeballs. This is so pretty. It's giving me a different vibe than anything else in my collection right now. So I'm really excited about that. I think that the colors themselves could probably be duped, but this formula is just so beautiful. So thank you again to Tanya for sending this one along. I'm gonna be doing another look with this one. I'm excited now that I've dipped Now that I've dipped my brush into it, now I'm gonna be like ready to like tear into it, you know what I mean? Like it's just like, oh, I wanna take pictures. It's so pristine and lovely. So I definitely am excited to play with this a little bit more. At this point, I'm probably just repeating myself out of excitement, but I'll be sure to give you a full review on the formulas and how I feel about them at the end. So I think now will be when we go into look 2.
Too many invitations, and the last night was heavy. I need communication. Tell me where's your location. Used to talk 24/7, every other second, just to make sure we were up to date. Now it's closer to 11, and I ain't hearing nothing. I just need to know that you're okay. Hide away from me when I need you most. We got love guaranteed, and I have to know. Say, where are you? Hey, don't be so hard to reach. Just pick up your phone. Tell me where you'll be, 'cause I gotta know. Any night, any day.
All right, I hope you enjoyed those looks. I know that I have really enjoyed them. I mean, honestly, this look, let's see, so what time is it now? It's about 5:40 my time, and I put this on at 7:30 this morning. I mean, she's still looking good, and I really, again, I don't have any fallout. I was a little worried about that because of the little like Tinkerbell essence in these shades. And I don't get that. And today I just used a little bit of concealer, no primer of any sort. Of course, I wet my brush when I put my shimmers on just because I always do, but this is still looking great. The shimmers on my lid and not on my face, which I can appreciate. So I really think that this is just going to be such a staple in my collection. I mean, this is just such a beautiful grab and go. Honestly, I don't know if I'll travel with it just because I love it so much and I don't want anything to happen to her, but I could see it being a really good travel palette because you have the warm tones, you have some beautiful, like I said, some rosy mauve tones, and then you have a little bit of color in here, so you could do a lot with just this one palette. It's gonna be in my faves for sure, so I'm very excited to have this one on hand. Now let's talk a little bit about Rich Romantic. So I am just gonna say that I don't think that that is a palette I'm going to grab. And it's not because, obviously, it's not because I didn't have a good experience with this, because I really did. There are a couple reasons when I look at this palette. So number one is the mainstay of this color story is more into those like berry tones, the grapey vibes, a little bit more into the purples. You do obviously, you know, if I'm looking at the swatches here, you do get a few of those more like coppery, ambery, orangey tones out of the multi-chromes in here. But, and of course there's that like one like coral pop in here. It's just not a color story that screams to me. And the other thing is, I will be honest, when I think I was on the Glaminatrix Instagram account and they had either like finger swatches or something. And of course, you know, you get the movement in the video and it's like, yes, I need that. It's beautiful. Look at the sparkle. And then I'm like, hold up. I look at the swatches. You know, movement makes everything look more like luxurious, luscious, all of those things. But like, let's face it, how often are we doing this? Like, hi everybody, thanks for coming. You know, probably not very often, right? We're usually like this. So I like to look at a still swatch. I don't think that there is any multi-chrome in here that I don't already have in my collection, even as someone who doesn't lean a lot into purples. Like the one shade in here that is sort of that like lavender silver, looks like it has a bit of a green shift. I think I have that. I think one of my recent Divinus shades has sort of that vibe. So there's really nothing in here that I can see on this arm swatch that I don't have. There is just something to the texture, the finish of these shades. I have probably all of these shades in my collection, but not this finish. Not this finish at all. Now, that being said, the closest thing that I would compare these shimmers to is the velvets from Glam Shop. But I think that these are shinier and they even have a little bit more sparkle to them. The velvets from Glam Shop are more of like a satin shadow with a lot of the sparkle over the top, whereas these definitely have a shimmer to them. Like they're like a foiled shadow, thinner though, they're nice and thin. and they, have that extra, like I said, that essence of Tinkerbell in it. There's just something about these that are so much fun to work with, but very wearable, because it's just so fine and so just so very pretty. I love this palette. So the formula for me in here, I don't think that the color story is unique, but the formulas I just really enjoy. And I very much so appreciate that it's very thin. I don't have any creasing, even though we are well into the evening here compared to like, putting this makeup on so early in the morning. And that is something that I really enjoy as someone who has hooded lids. If it's a shimmer formula that has that like slippy, smushy texture to it, it's gonna crease on me. I've just found that out, and these just don't do that. So I just feel like this color story and the formulas in here, the mattes, the mattes perform beautifully from Glaminatrix. If the formula in this palette is like this, I know that I would absolutely enjoy that. It's just not calling to me. The color story just isn't there for me. Now, that being said, who do I think that this palette really would be good for? I think if you are someone where you don't have a lot of multi-chrome singles, maybe you're just someone who really isn't into single eyeshadows, maybe you're newer into multi-chromes, maybe, just having a palette with all of these shades together seems attractive to you. Also, I do think you have to be into those like berries, the grapey tones. You really have to look at the color story, but I just want you to take a peek at your current multi-chromes. I feel like there's not much in here that is super unique. Again, brands are getting so good at making these really tasty reels where we're like, oh, it's just drool worthy, right? So just take a step back. Like, I know I was like, oh, wait, maybe I do want this. And then I was like, hold on, keep your panties on here for just a second. Like, there's maybe 1 or 2 shadows in this palette that maybe are unique to you. Would they be shades that you'd use that much to make it worth it? Now, I will also say I have a lot of singles from Glaminatrix that I was sent as well that I cannot wait to dive into. That is the other thing. I really want to dive into some of the shades that are multi-chromes that she sent me because I just want to get a feel for that formula. I haven't had the chance to enjoy those yet. And again, it's one of those things where it's like, I just need to take the time to take them out of their little envelopes and put them in a pretty little bed and, then get to play with them. I thought about doing a little like live swatch party one night to get to share them with all of you, but a lot of the shades you aren't able to get. So I don't think I will be doing that, but I do plan on incorporating a lot of those shades into BYOP's upcoming. And then I'll get a little bit more flavor for the singles because I also noticed that the brand does little like singles launches and I'm like, oh, some of those are real cute. So stay tuned for my thoughts on those. But hopefully my little dive here into this palette and kind of comparing it to the Rich Romantic is helpful to you. I do feel like a lot of people have this palette and I also know a lot of people are sort of lusting over the new one. So this is encouragement to maybe get some use out of this if you have it and just my thoughts on the new one as well. All right, lovelies, I feel like I've done enough here. If you have any questions, let me know down below. But I do just want to say I am just really feeling a strong glow of gratitude right now because I feel like this year I really have had a lot of fun trying some new to me brands, some that I've purchased, but also some that I've been so lucky to have sent to me in PR. Of course, something like this where a amazing, just super generous subscriber has sent something to me where it's like, oh wow, something that's been on my radar for a while that I haven't had that opportunity to try. So I just feel very lucky. And again, thank you to Tanya. I know I keep mentioning her, but I'm like, if it wasn't for her, I wouldn't be doing this because I would have missed out on this palette, and I'm just so grateful because I do think that this is going to be one that I have in my collection for a long time coming. So that being said, if there's a brand that you do want me to try out, if it's something that you haven't seen me do any content on here before, go ahead and drop it down below. I'm really enjoying getting to try different brands that I think have a little different something something, and so if there's one that you think I'm missing out on, I would love to know your thoughts down in the comments. So with that being said, I think that's it for today. So I really do appreciate you all taking some time out of your day to spend it with me. It means so much, and I will see you really soon.